Hello, welcome back to Mark's Garden UK at Rose Cottage near Nantwich in Cheshire. I'm going to talk to you today about olive trees. Before I get onto the olive trees, have a look at this. The Musa Basju. I only unwrapped these about a week and a half ago, and look at the growth already. It's mid-April, 16th of April today. These are the two olive trees which I rescued in a video last year. I bought them reduced, in the reduced section in Morrison's. They looked dead. I repotted them. I took a lot of the soil from around the roots, put them into well-drained soil, gave them lots of feed, put a gravel mulch on top, and they sprung back into life. And by the end of last summer, they looked amazing. However, we've had a really cold winter, and these two olive trees have been sat outside my back door in temperatures down to -10 with no protection. I didn't put any fleece around the head, and I didn't protect the pots. So this is what they've looked like after that really severe frost over the winter time. And you can see here, they've lost a lot of the leaves. The leaves that remain have gone very off colour, and some of them have gone brown, and indeed on the top of the pot there's a lot of dead leaves. There's quite a lot of leaf drop. I have to say this one looks slightly worse than that one, but I'm going to try an experiment today. I'm going to try something very severe, and it might surprise you, but one of these olive trees, using these secateurs, I'm going to take it right back. I'm going to give it the hardest pruning you can possibly imagine, almost to destruction. Another one I'm going to leave, and then over the months ahead I'll give you updates, at least monthly, and we'll see how the one that gets a really severe hard pruning fares compared to the one that's just left alone. Now, I've pruned olive trees in the past and I know they'll come back, so I'm not too worried about them. I think the one that gets the hard pruning will end up looking in better shape than the one that doesn't. I imagine that this one will end up looking quite straggly with the growth on the outside, whereas this one will end up a nice compact ball. But we will see, and you will see as well if you follow this little series of videos. Hit the subscribe and the notifications bell. So what I'm going to do is going to look very dramatic, and it's almost cruelty to plants, but I'm going to prune that one right back in front of your eyes, almost to the point where there's probably about a tennis size little ball of twigs in the centre. That one I'm going to leave. However, I am going to put some Miracle Grow slow release food on top. I'm going to use these new secateurs. They're very sharp and they're very clean, so I'm not going to introduce any disease into the pot. Let's just have a little bit more of an examination of these. They're quite firm. These were only repotted last year, so I know they don't need repotting again. There's at least another year, possibly two, of space for growth in these two pots. Feeling down into the gravel, the compost is moist. Now what I do is I leave a good 2 inches on top of the pot. That gives me room to really wet them, soak them, and what I try and do is I let them almost dry out between watering in the summer, in the growing season, and I think that kind of emulates their natural habitat, because they do live in a very dry, well-drained climate in their native habitat. Right, so let's get to work. Incidentally, you can buy these secateurs. There's a link below this video in the description box, and also there's a link to the Miracle Grow product. Now I say that because if you buy a product through any of my Amazon links, I do get some commission, and it helps because it helps me do more stuff in the garden, because I get a tiny commission on everything I sell through Amazon. Right, I shall bring the camera a little bit in closer and you can see exactly what I'm going to do. Be prepared to be shocked. So, having rescued them and given them such TLC last year, I'm now going to test one of them to destruction. I've got a little half of a vegetable oil pot here with some compost and vermiculite in it, and anything on here that looks like it might make a good cutting I'm going to stick in there. We might get some free olive trees. We'll see how they take. The nice thing about having a see-through plastic pot is I'll be able to see the roots growth, if there is any. And if you want to know what vermiculite is, or perlite, or both, because I did a comparison, there's a video on my channel. So I'll take a few cuttings and we'll see what happens. Again, I'll update you on those at the same time as I update you on this pruning. Let's get to work. Let's start pruning. Now as I prune, I'll show you. You can see there, hopefully in the cross section, there's still quite a lot of green in that. That's not a dead plant, in fact, anything but. it's alive and kicking. Lots of very healthy green growth in there. And that's a little tip for you. If you're ever worried about your olive tree, whether it's died or not, just snip a twig off and look at the cross section. If it's green, it's not dead. If it's brown and dry, then clearly it might well be dead. Let's take all this growth off here. Let's have a look for any potential cuttings on there. Well, that might take us a cutting. Let's try that. And I'm just going to snip it down to below a leaf node. I'll shove it in there. I'll do half a dozen. Pot luck, you can't lose anything. Again, there's another one there. Just below a leaf node, and I'll remove some leaves. Who knows? We'll soon see. Lovely green growth, can you see there? Nothing wrong with this plant. It's just suffered a little bit of shock in the very cold weather. Now that might be a hardwood cutting, and I don't know whether hardwood cuttings take off olives, but again we'll try it. Just below a leaf node. And I'm not leaving any leaves on that, so I don't hold out much hope, but we shall put it in there and we shall see. Not going to take me long this, these are not huge plants. The interesting point of this video will be, and I get lots of questions about pruning, and people are quite precious and protective of their olive trees, and I fully understand that. The interesting point of this little series of videos will be how well they come back. Can't leave that little leaf on there, little bonus leaf, we'll leave it on. But look at that now. Got a few cuttings, I might make a few more. Doesn't look much, does it? And there's the other one that I'm going to leave. The only thing to do now is to sprinkle some slow release plant food on top. I'll go and get it. You don't need a lot of this stuff. It's slow release. So I'm just going to sprinkle half a cap on each one so they're both getting equal treatment. And as I water these, the water will dissolve it and it will leach down into the soil beneath. And just manipulate that into the gravel a little. Nice thing about this is it's actually gravel coloured. Miracle Grow. A little bit of a water just to start to dissolve the Miracle Grow, not much. Help it to start dissolving and leaching down. I'm now going to place these back outside my back door so that they both enjoy exactly the same treatment, exactly the same light and weather and conditions. And we'll do a comparison between the one that's been pruned hardback and the one that hasn't been pruned. And if you subscribe and hit the notifications bell, you'll see what effect hard pruning an olive tree has. Hope you found that interesting. And I shall put links to the follow-up videos at the end of this one, and as cards above it, they'll appear up here. It's mid-April. I'll do an update in a month's time, mid-May. Hope you've enjoyed it. Bye for now.